My name is Isaac Tapia or Isaac Tapia. I am from Mexico City, Mexico. Don't remember exactly what part of Mexico City, um, because I moved very young with my mom to Juarez. And now I live in Kansas City, Missouri. My mom brought me here to the United States, and yeah, I've been here since the age of 9, basically. And I am an artist, a teaching artist, muralist, slash all of those art things. I work for Mighty Roads now. Mighty Roads, uh, yeah, Mighty Roads Center. I'm a teaching artist. I teach kindergarten to 5th grade, sometimes 6th. We do a lot of not just teaching art. There's also counseling. There's also help with the community, social work. Um, there's a lot of involvement with the community that goes along with Mighty Roads. But my main part is the youth development part. Um, and within the youth development, my group is called Cultural Journeys. And what we try to teach the kids is art, but not just art. We also try to somehow put cultural um, learning with it as well. So there's a lot of research that comes behind all of these art materials that I try to teach them. And some of them, because I do live in a neighborhood where the majority of the kids are Mexican descendant, I do teach a lot of things from Mexico, and they get very excited about it. Specifically, Oaxaca, because my entire family is from Oaxaca, and so I like to teach a lot about that to the kids. But my biggest thing right now, or like the biggest thing that so far has gotten me a little bit known here in Kansas City, has definitely been the murals. It started about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. One of my friends called me because wanted to, they asked him to paint a mural at a school, and he was not a painter. Now he is. But he was definitely not a painter. We went to school together. We both went to Paseo. He graduated when I was a freshman, and he was a sculpturist. But he called me and said, "Hey, I have a mural. Do you mind helping me?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll go help." And at that point, I had already like spray painted for maybe like a year and a half with some other friends. I picked up a spray pen with my friends and started spray painting. So I was like, "No, you gotta start spray painting. Use the spray can. It's gonna smell pretty bad, but it's okay." So, I mean, we definitely finished that faster than he thought. Um, then they called us back again. We did another one for the same school, an entire playground. And after that, people kept calling us, and we would go door to door as well, knocking on people's business, because that's what really taught me as an artist, that I need to market myself, that I need to think like a businessman, because it's important, even though you don't want to, because it's your art and you love it, but you have to be a businessman.
And how many have you done all over Kansas City now?
So right now we probably have more than 40.
When did you start painting?
I started when I was a little kid. Well, when I was in third grade, actually. Nope, yeah, third grade and fourth grade, I started drawing a bunch of dinosaurs. I wanted to be a paleontologist, and I drew dinosaurs all the time. Um, then after that, I stopped drawing throughout middle school, and it was when I was about to attend high school that I my mom wanted me to go to Lincoln Preparatory High School, which is a magnet school here in Kansas City. I didn't want to go there. So instead of that, I tried to look for another school and another alternative to what I wanted to do, and there was Paseo Academy, and that's where I decided to go. But in order for me to get to Paseo Academy, I had to do a test as well, or as they like to call it over there, an audition. And I was originally going to play the clarinet because I played the clarinet throughout my entire, it was third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade that I played the clarinet. And that's what I was going to do. And then I was like, nah. So I didn't know what I was gonna do, and I just started sketching. And I was like, oh, I used to draw dinosaurs, and I don't know. I just started sketching, started putting my portfolio together just so I could show the art teachers at Paseo Academy, and I was able to get in, um, which was really cool. It was an amazing school to me, and I learned so much from there. And I didn't really get into painting until my sophomore year. My freshman year in high school, my art teacher actually told me that I couldn't paint. Well, she's really nice. I like her. I like her. She said I couldn't paint and that I need to try harder. But I mean, so I did. I always like challenges, and usually when people tell me you can't do something, I like to prove them wrong. And so the next year they put me in painting one, and with one of my favorite art teachers in the world that I still talk to, Jessica Manco, and she also worked at Mighty Roads for a while. But I got into painting there, and that's where I just painted and painted, and didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to take any ceramic class, any sculpture class. I just wanted painting, and that was it.
I have one of your pieces here I put up. uh, and I know it's not painting, but like I have no idea how to paint. Did it just come to you, or were you
Uh,
automatically good, or
no, I feel like I wasn't automatically good. I mean, I think that I think I just had a very amazing art instructor. I always like to say that I owe like a lot of the color usage and color structure that I have to my teacher, Jessica. Um, I don't know. I just really feel like she was an amazing art teacher, and I just feel like I just learned everything from her, and that was about it.
well, I have a teacher that did the same thing for me in high school, um, with writing. I mean, that's why teachers are so important. And now you are a teacher. Is that is that how it worked for you, or did you just fall into Matty Rhodes?
After a while of being in high school and what was it, my junior year, I discovered that I couldn't really attend the college that I wanted to go to because I was undocumented. And so I didn't know what to do with my life anymore. My dream was to go to, was it the Chicago Art Institute? Just because I've always wanted to go there. I don't know why, but it always called me. It was definitely a very stressful year for me, and I definitely failed the majority of my classes because I didn't want to go to them. I would just skip classes because I just thought I'm not gonna have anything later in my life, so what's the point? Um, my teachers, my art teachers, really tried to encourage me, and somehow, some way, I ended up spending a summer at KCAI. I think it's Kansas City Art Institute, and for a summer, and that made me really like, it made me inspired. And they also were able to tell me, hey, you can still apply here in Kansas City. And so then that really put a fire on my butt, and I had to do something. I did a lot of night school. I did a lot of night school and a lot of things that I was supposed to do a long time ago. I was able to graduate and everything, and I attended KCI for 2 years, um, and it really wasn't what I expected. I really didn't learn what I wanted to learn personally, and after that, I just got out, started working with my parents at their janitorial company, and I worked for two and a half or 2 years with them. Basically from, let's see, 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and then from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning for 2 years.
Wow.
And I guess the first dark time in my life would be when I was working for those whole 2 years. Um, at that time, I was in a relationship with another person, uh, and my mom didn't like her, and she didn't like my mom. So it was always for me. How do I say it? Like, okay, so they never liked each other. So my response to that was, I'm gonna get my own apartment, and I'm gonna live there in case my ex-girlfriend wants to come over and feel comfortable. Um, she's a dancer. She travels all the time, and so she would come back, and she would stay with me. I She would go for like 6 months, sometimes a year, and my entire time through that was me living by myself, and my world definitely revolved around her. Um, I didn't really think about myself at all. I didn't really think about my family, and it was just revolved around her and trying to do as much as I could for her. And so at that, there were moments that I did miss my family, but I felt like I was being pulled apart, uh, very, very, very much. And there were instances where it got so much that I did feel like, if I didn't exist, maybe this would not be happening or something like that. So there were times that I did think like that, but I feel like it was because I was living by myself and I didn't really talk to anybody. And the friends that I had pushed away because they were not important to me, because I only had one person to think about. Um, so it was really hard for me.
And you weren't painting then?
I wasn't really painting. That was not my focus. That was definitely not my focus. I was more focused on making sure that the other person felt comfortable with, whenever they would come back. We were together for 7 years, since high school. And it was basically always, for me, it was always like a long distance relationship. She would leave. I wouldn't see her for 6 months, a year, maybe. And then she would come back. And then she would come back and would sit for like 2 weeks, week, and then that was it. But it was a breakup or it wasn't a breakup. I don't even remember. We broke up and got back together so much, but she definitely left, and I I had to leave the apartment, and I had to clean the entire apartment, and I really didn't have any help from anybody to do all of this. And that's kind of when I started realizing, well, I kind of need help. I started talking to my parents again, my mom, and she definitely opened up my eyes a little bit more. But I was so like, I need to be with this person because this is the only person that I've ever known that, I mean, I I got away from the apartment. I started living with my parents for a while to get back up on my feet again. And that was when it was still like an on and off relationship. But it was definitely when I met my friend Sergio. That was when I started doing the spray paint. But it was through him that I definitely feel like I got out of all of this, because here comes this another undocumented friend that had a painting in one of the galleries in the Crossroads, and an undocumented, just like me, having a painting in the Crossroads, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. What am I doing with my life? The Crossroads here in Kansas City is like the art district of Kansas City. Um, you rarely find Latinx artists. Um, rarely find them here in Kansas City, in my opinion, because we're very hidden, and usually people look for us whenever we have Day of the Dead artwork.
Of course.
So I decided to. It was kind of creepy, I guess, but I was just standing by the painting the entire time until I saw somebody that looked like it was the artist. So, I mean, I got near him, and then I started asking him questions, and then he started telling me, well, yeah, I spray paint, and during the day I paint and all this, and he started inviting me to his life, and then he invited me to his whole, what is it called, Alcoholics Anonymous, that he attended to. And to me, I loved going to it, even though I wasn't somebody that's alcoholic. I loved going to it because it was like my therapy, because of the stories that everybody said and all of these things. To me, it was amazing, and that really helped me to get out there and to continue with myself, um, or continue to keep working with my art. So I did definitely quit working with my parents after hanging out with him for a while, and finally applied for my DACA. Um, when I got it, I started um, a part-time valet job, because I said to myself, I'm going to paint and I'm going to do valet part-time. So that's what I did for about 2 years or a year and a half. But it was amazing working at the valet, because I got to drive really cool cars and really nice cars. But the most amazing part was that I kept painting, and that I got back into painting, with the help of my friend, definitely. They were spray painting out somewhere legally. um, but painting with him was to me was probably the key to getting involved with other people, finding friends, having that support um, of friends. I guess to me really helped me to get out of all of these things, because they would give me advice about it. They would tell me, well, you should maybe not be with this person, or maybe you should stop thinking about this person and do your own thing and worry about yourself. And even little conversations that people would say in the Alcoholic Anonymous reunion things that happened, you would hear people talk about certain things, and that would connect with yourself. And I feel like a lot of people see Alcoholic Anonymous as like you're an addict to alcohol, but to me it was like I wasn't an addict to any kind of alcohol. It was more of like, I don't know, it was my therapy, I guess, for a while, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It helped me to think about myself, and it helped me to be selfish to a certain extent, a lot, because I really wasn't. And it helped me understand that being selfish sometimes is okay, as long as it's good for yourself. And as long as you're taking care of yourself and your mental health. I think that's what, even right now, I'm realizing still, because I do struggle a lot with just thinking about myself and the things that I want to do. So I think being selfish, sometimes it's okay to be selfish, as long as it's good for your mental health. Or I'm able to not be in a dark place because I have art with me, and I'm starting to find a lot of friends and a lot of people that care about me, and realizing how important people are to me and how important they should be. Um, because I never really talked to my mom about my problems. I never really talked to my family about my problems. I always kept them to myself, and I always tried to resolve them somehow, some way by myself. And right now it would be, I don't know, to really think about the people that you have around you. And really think about the people that are always there for you, and your family and your friends. Because to me, I feel like they're really the key to go out there. And friends can be family too, most definitely.
100%.
So yeah, I feel like finding your inner circle is important. Your support group.
Even if it's AA.
Yep, even if it's AA.
If you could, your future self now, tell your past self something, what would it be?
Start painting.
It's good.
Definitely start painting. I feel like I took too long to go back into painting. Um, Definitely would be start painting, and think about yourself once in a while.
Do you have any future projects that you're working on?
um, well, right now I started to, during the whole COVID thing. I didn't do any painting except for drawings, and I've just been drawing my entire COVID break, I guess. And I just recently now started doing a little bit of more painting, and that has definitely started, or at least inspired me a little bit more to continue with what I had an idea of a long time ago, when I wanted to do a whole series of people that inspire me, even though I already do that kind of, but small. But now it's like I wanted to make them bigger, like this one behind me. And this is Ana Tijoch. She's a rap artist from Chile, and she's amazing, and she's awesome, and she's always representing. And she's an indigenous woman. She speaks French as well, so she's so cool. to me at least. But yeah, things like painting things like this, painting friends as well. Right now I'm painting one of my friends that her name is Frida. Yeah, so I'm painting her, and I basically want to start painting a lot of the people that are in KS Moda, which is the Kansas City, Missouri Alliance, Dream Act Alliance, and they help out a lot of the uh, community, undocumented community, and kids and students that are undocumented. They help them to get their DACAs, um, and definitely want to do like a whole series of them. And Frida's part of that. Uh, so she's going to be the first one right now that I'm going to start painting. And all of these I want to do in oil. Um, that's my favorite medium of all time, oils. And then watercolors and gouache, and then acrylic.
So you're inquisitive. So, and people inspire you, and you seem to paint people who inspire you. They seem to be your subjects a lot of the time. Do you put any of their story into your paintings of them?
I try to. Usually the way I do that is I like to do a sketch of them first, or sometimes I just talk to them and I write down certain things that they talk to me about, uh, and I just either put it in the background or I randomly, in a sneaky way, take a picture of them doing what they love to do. Um, or I just ask them, "Hey, can you pose for me?" Um, and they pose. Take a picture because nobody really likes to pose for like hours anymore. It would be my wish, but yeah, I love doing figure drawing. Those are always fun for me. It does interest me because you find beauty in so many different bodies. Um, and there's always something about every single person that I'm drawing that I really like.
I was looking through some of your art, and you seem to mix crowns, crowns in with your painting.
Oh, well, that has been recent. That was during the COVID thing. Um,
Love that. It looks
uh,
really awesome.
Basically, I got a scholarship to be able to attend to the Illustrators Academy, and people from all over the industry come and teach. So a lot of people from Marvel, a lot of people from DC, um, concept artists, comic book artists, illustrators, um, amazing artists that blew my mind. And actually, the drawing that you have there behind you was done at the Illustrators Academy, and I was really inspired by one of the teachers there. His name is C.F. Payne. He's a very famous, I don't know if you could say cartoon, kind of like a cartoon character artist. And instead of using crayons, he uses color pencils to do all the detail. Then he does another layer, and then color pencil, and then another layer, and then color pencil, and then another layer. But because I'm not very experienced with oil and colored pencils, I wanted to use something more simple, so I just did it with acrylic and crayons. And so that's how I started the acrylic and crayon thing. And I just kept going with it because I just love it. It's first time that I've ever done mixed media, and I really enjoyed it.
I don't think I've ever seen crayon mixed with a paint like that. It's a cool style.
Thank you. And
Is there anybody who inspires you to keep doing painting?
um, my mom, my mom definitely inspires me a lot in her hard work coming to the United States, bringing us. Um, saving. She actually told me one time, I think it was around $5,000 that she has to save in order for her to bring us here. Um, so that hard work, she did that within a year. Worked really hard. And then in 2009, opened up her janitorial company. Um, Now she's still working with her janitorial company. And she's definitely a big part, a big chunk of the inspiration that I get. And stories help me out a lot of stories. I love listening to people's stories, and I love to ask questions.
What has your experience been like being an undocumented artist or an undocumented person in general?
I feel like at the beginning it was really hard. I learned English here um, in third grade. It took me about 6 months to understand it. Couldn't write it very well, but I would understand it and be able to speak whatever I could. Definitely was bullied though. I was bullied when I was a kid. It's definitely hard and very for kids that come at a very young age. It's a very hard moment when they find out that they're undocumented and they can't go to certain field trips or they can't go to certain schools that they want to go to. It's very heartbreaking, definitely. You're always told, or at least for me, my family, my mom, my stepdad would always tell me, don't ever tell anybody you're undocumented. Never say you're undocumented because they might call ICE, they might say you're undocumented, then you get deported. So for a really long time, it was really, really, really hard to share that I was undocumented. Um, to a certain point, uh, I feel like when you're undocumented, you're always looking at behind you, or when you're driving, you're always looking at your rearview mirror, which I still do, which is, I don't know if it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like I don't want to say PTSD, but it's like you're always looking to see if something or the police is behind you, you're going to get stopped or something like that. But I don't know, it still feels like that to me right now, even though I am a DACA recipient. I still feel like that. I have never been outside of the United States. I mean, I've been in Mexico, but I hardly remember a lot of Mexico. Um, I would definitely love to travel somewhere else. I've only been to maybe like 5 other places besides Kansas City in the United States because it's always been a scary thing of like, are you going to get deported if you get stopped? If they ask you for your documentation, are they going to be okay? You can go. So it's always been kind of stressful for me to travel. Um, Recently, when I went to Hawaii, that was very stressful for me. When Obama was still president, I still was able to go to another country if if I was able to go to Mexico if somebody passed away. So I would still be able to go then. Or if my job wanted me to travel to another country, I could have still done that. But right now, with the circumstances in front of us, um, I can't do any of that because we are told, well, you might not be able to be let back in. You never know. So I'd rather not take any kind of risks. A lot of DACA recipients right now are in a, I don't know, like a line. We're on top of it. We don't know if we're going to fall off or whatever. We don't have a pathway to citizenship. We just have DACA, and that's it. Um, Unless something happens, I guess, and they change that. then we would be able to apply for citizenship. But I would like to say that I know that a lot of DACA recipients right now are working really hard. And I also know like other DACA recipients that right now are, a lot of them are definitely attorneys, lawyers, immigration lawyers. I know a lot of them. Uh, they own businesses. Here we have like the first ever Latinx vegan restaurant owned by a DACA recipient. We're doing things. We're definitely doing things. We're not just standing around. So in order for you to start a business, you have to have an IT number, and that is fairly easy to get and apply for. And the IT number becomes you're able to get a company started with an IT number because then it becomes its own entity, and that's it. You're definitely just cut off from the company. The company just it's its own entity, and you're your own self, I guess. But no, you don't get to stay here.
Wow. So
But
if
you still have to pay your taxes.
I don't
That's
understand.
the funny thing, because you still have to pay taxes. You still have to do all these other things that everybody else does. Um, but you don't ever really see that money
Oh.
because you're not a citizen.
Do you think that that shows up in your artwork at all, or is your artwork therapeutic for it?
Some of my artwork is. Some of my artwork is not. Um, I feel like the majority of the people that I paint do show that because the majority of the people have a story behind them. And let me see. Let me think of somebody. Carlos. He well, he's on my Instagram, but he's the guy that has glasses and he's like a chef with pink flowers in the background, and he has two businesses here in Kansas City, and he's kicking ass. He's definitely kicking ass, and he's part of, like, I would say he's part of the inspiration that I get. Um, and to me, it's somebody worthy of being painted and shown to the world and let the world know, hey, look at this guy, I guess. Or even like Rico. I painted Rico a while ago um, as well. And that's my partner that I paint with. Um, he's also on Instagram. But his story, he came to the United States just like me from Uruguay. He's a DACA recipient now. And, sharing his story through paint. I guess I do have a lot of people that I paint like that.